We're on the internet, and Roz is ignoring me while we're supposed to be doing our job. I'm teasing you. I'm being a dick. Hi, internets. My name's Bailey, and this is Raza here. And then we got our resident therapist and human who keeps us in check, Wine Mom. Say hi, Wine Mom.
Hello.
So, this is Same Shit, Different Day, our weekly podcast where we talk about like pop culture and analyze just the general bullshit in the world around us. So, this week we wanted to talk about two timely topics, one being the Olympics and the IOC. And then we got Kanye West coming out with his new album, Donda. And does
August
Kanye
6th.
West, August 6th, is this the beginning of his redemption arc? We will see and decide by the end of this pod.
More at 6.
Yeah, more at six. So what we wanted to start with though was the IOC, and we're talking about the Olympics today. And now it's hard to provide like a good general context for it because there's so many moving parts. But I think something that's incredibly important to note here is that the majority of people in Japan and Tokyo where it's occurring are very much against the Olympics occurring there. So
Yes.
it's intriguing because it's like the strong arm of the IOC being displayed just through that. But that's a whole rant. I'm going to let you two give your thoughts because I feel like I've just ranted about the Olympic Committee way too much. So you guys give some more pop culture-y things before I rant about how the whole system is broken.
About the Olympics?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the Olympics, Japan is bracing itself for a fourth wave, and the cases are going up, but not many people are vaccinated. That they have a slower rollout than we do, which is weird because there's less people. But having the Olympics during this is going to set back Japan, I think, a couple years. Because as in the script, since July 1st, 9 or 196, I think it's
106.
106 people or athletes have contracted COVID, and it's from the direct link of the Olympics. That should be an indication that the Olympics shouldn't happen if people are still getting it.
Right.
Do you follow the Olympics a lot, Wine Mom, or have you just been catching the pop culture tidbits on social media?
Honestly, I don't really pay that much attention. I did when I was in high school because it was cool to care about it then.
I think we
But
all did.
right. But I just think with the current climate, it's just a little bit cringy that it's even going on. For me, I'm just kind of like, I don't think we thought that through, did we?
Yeah,
Because it's
100%.
the amount of travel, and you're taking, because we halted a lot of travel because of these issues, and then we're like, yeah, let's just take a little bit of somebody from every place in the world and come all together. It makes no sense to me. And I know originally they were planning on having live guests, kind of like how live sports have started again in Ontario, and they were going to have people live visiting for the Olympics, and then I guess the city and the people were like, no, we don't want that, please. And so they decided to be like, no, don't come here, only athletes. We're not going to have live viewings.
Right.
Yeah, like even I was listening to the Boomer Radio this weekend just so I can like do my communications thing and know what they're being fed. And there was only like 61 people at the opening game, like the opening ceremony. Like not even like many of the athletes didn't even attend the opening ceremonies. It was just like the actors for it to be recorded. It's like, so even the people participating are like that skeptical. They're like, we're not going to go to the opening ceremony, please and thank you.
And on top of that, it's the lowest viewed, like globally. Like not many people are watching it in general. So,
I mean, I've seen some stuff on Twitter, and a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing is like not a lot of masks. I'll say that.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing a
yeah.
lot of mask behavior. I mean, I know they're playing sports, but there is some like contact that's going on, and with masks not being there, like I don't know how they thought that it was not going to cause another spike or wave across the world to do that.
It's because and again, Japan is bracing for another wave, right? They know it's gonna happen, but but the IOC and the committee in Japan that want to do this are like saying it brings in revenue, but at the same time,
But like
your
what
people
revenue?
are dying. Yeah, what because well sponsors I but sponsors have I don't know what
Yeah.
if there are any
So
sponsors that have pulled out.
I won't go into my whole rant, but that's where it does get fucky because all the money from the sponsors goes straight to the Olympic Committee, the IOC, and then they distribute it. So the
Right.
Olympics still wants it to go on because it was the city of Tokyo or the city of Rio de Janeiro that spent all that money. They don't give a fuck about all the money you spent to build those stadiums and shit. They still want it to happen because McDonald's still cutting the fucking bag.
Right,
So
right.
not a lot of people, no one directly pulled out, but especially in Japan, being it's a massive deal. When I talk about those opening ceremonies, a lot of like Japanese, like Mitsubishi, Panasonic, Sony, they all were like, we are not fucking attending this bullshit.
Right,
Right.
right.
I put it out in a very Japanese statement, but it was like, we support the popular opinion that we do not think these games should be occurring, and thus
Yeah.
we will not be attending in person. However, we will not withdraw our sponsorships.
And like it's the contrast you're seeing because Japanese people are inherently very like well mannered, they're well respectful, they're polite, and they understand that's the they understand that protecting your citizens is worth more than doing this once in a 4-year game, right?
Well, and what I support about Japanese culture, they care about continuity. They'll hold the corporations accountable versus us. It's like, oh
Yeah.
no, oh well, Google screwed us again. Too bad.
Mhm.
You know, like so
Like
public image is a big deal there because if Panasonic
Yeah.
supports the games, the people just won't buy their products.
yeah, and it's also like if you look at here, like NFL, right? A lot of stadiums and teams are saying you can come, you can come here, vaccinated or unvaccinated, max masks or no masks. It doesn't matter. So it's just like I respect what Japan is doing because Japan's people are looking at the reality of the situation, whereas us, we want our life to go back to normal, and we
Yeah,
don't like this Western ideology where we don't like this oppressiveness
Yeah.
when it's not really being oppressed. You're just having for once care about somebody other than yourself. That's what
Yeah.
it comes down to
I just find that people are not taking the pandemic serious anymore.
anymore. Yeah.
It's just become like a non-issue for so many people, and I've had to go because, I've been isolating myself pretty much this entire time. And I had to go into like a non-essential store for something that was deemed essential for myself, and I go in there and it's absurdly busy. I just walk right back out. And like a
Mhm.
lot of people are not wearing their masks or being responsible. It's like, and that's the culture outside of Japan, because we're just like, oh, everything's fine. We're back to
Mhm.
normal. So it's like welcoming those people there is detrimental, I think.
that's I agree. I agree, and then I will be the super judgy one here. Of like,
Mhm.
if the athlete is sitting there going like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll go to the thing where thousands of people are gonna travel internationally. That's already like the athletes are kind of like you kind of understand their political leanings
Right.
on the
Mhm.
pandemic. You know?
Yeah, like a wrestler in America. I forget I think he's from Team America, but a wrestler said he isn't gonna vaccinate himself, and like it's getting to the point where like you are saying these things without realizing you have an implication that people are listening to you, and like
Right.
people are seeing these things, and they're like, okay, maybe I'm not gonna get vaccinated because
Mm-hmm.
he's not getting vaccinated and stuff.
I just really feel like if you're the person, like, look, I understand there's some people that don't want to get vaccinated because they have some fears or concerns, and some of them are genuine, and that's fine, you know, as long as you're going with the discretion of your doctor. But
Mhm.
if people are out there just protesting it just to protest it, you shouldn't be traveling and going anywhere. Because
Yeah,
really, honestly, like, if you're not going to be responsible, then you shouldn't go into another place that already has enough. Like, you don't get to add to the problem. It's
yeah.
not fair.
And I take that to these athletes who don't want to
Right.
help out this situation. Like a couple of athletes have said they're not going because they're
Mm-hmm.
like it's a pandemic and this doesn't make any sense. And to those, I'm like, that's a bolder statement. That's a braver
Hmm.
statement because you're actually going against
I
a
feel so
norm that
bad
what
for them. I feel so
I
Yeah.
bad
do
for them.
too.
They already
I do
get
too.
paid fuck all, especially if they're a Canadian athlete. They get paid dick all, and then they work for their whole life for this opportunity, and they have the gumption to be able to say, "Nah, I don't think this is a wise idea."
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, you sacrificed something you've worked 8 years for now,
Yeah.
right?
It sucks.
Yeah, it's like
Fuck.
it's like this new norm where like now if you stand up against it, you are considered a cop or a FUD. Whereas if you like take a freedom stance and say, no, I don't want to get vaccinated. I think what you're doing is indoctrination. That's going to become the normality and stuff.
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
people, the anti-vax is going to become the more popular take
Yeah.
or position.
I mean, it's hard because there is some validity to people's arguments when they say, like, why does it have to be mandatory and things like that, and like the vaccine passports and all those issues that people have. It's hard to be like, okay, it's not that dramatic, like, relax. Because for people who already have that, like, super heightened fear of government, and then stuff like that happens, it does create like a resistance. That's normal to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it just sucks because a lot of people that I know are like, oh, we're the most vaccinated country and we've got everything together. And like, oh, there's no way we're going to have another wave. And it's like, I feel like that's very idealistic and not really based in reality, especially if you've seen the trends that have been going on in Ontario. And it's not
Yeah,
just here, it's everywhere. You know, I have a friend who lives in the States and he's like, they're back on lockdown because they're getting 11,000 cases a day,
yeah.
and we're still allowing American people to travel into Canada. Like,
Hmm.
it's still happening, whether it's for business or essential or whatever it is. The traveling is still happening. So we're
Hmm.
not really in the clear like everyone seems to think we are. And
So
that's
Oh
what's
yeah.
scary.
it is
And
what's
then next,
scary, and then I don't
and
want
then
to go, Raza, first. Go.
and just to end up a 1 month point, as they say, the next pandemic or the next wave won't be because of COVID. It'll be because of the unvaccinated people,
Right.
which is so true because
So,
they're the
but
ones who are slowing us down. Yeah. So,
no,
sorry.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And then to swing it around, because it is a good point and it ties directly in, is like the sad part is, I think what this Olympics shows is that like money only promotes that greed, right? Like the
Yes.
same
Yeah.
the people who run the Olympics, the athletes who participate in the Olympics, the people who have the opportunity to be involved in this event are the ones that are going,
Mhm.
"Heck, yeah, let's fucking do it. Yeah, fuck them all.
Yeah.
Let's all
Yeah.
travel internationally and get on our planes and spread the Rona
We
globally."
It's because the people who are in control of this are protected themselves. They have those contingency plans if something
Yeah.
happens to them. But for the athletes, if they get Rona, the only thing they can do is self-isolate. And God
Yeah.
forbid something happens to them, right?
Well, and
Hmm.
it's like, I feel like their city is going to be so much in debt when this is done. Like you said, they're
Oh,
going to
it
be
always
dealing with this
is.
for the next little while. Yeah. It's
Mhm.
just going to be horrible. And especially at a time when, like, everybody's already in debt, you're just increasing the problem.
Mhm.
It
It's
is
just
like there's a lot of
much.
it's not even conspiracy theory. It's like the
Mhm.
cities lose money from hosting the Olympics. It's like on
Somebody,
record. On average, they
somebody's
lose about $20 to $30 million.
somebody is smoking a joint, and I got this huge whiff of weed, and I'm gonna contact her right
Oh
now.
my gosh.
That's jokes. That's so
We're
jokes.
talking about Olympics, Raza. I'm getting high.
No, somebody's like lit a friggin' joint in my. It seems to be in my backyard, but it's not. But no,
But
I agree with what Bailey's saying to him
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. Yeah.
because that's like the fucked part of the process. Like that's something I don't think the typical person knows. Like I think you're aware of it, Wine Mom, but like those bidding processes, like even in Toronto, we have those pillars on the lakeshore, right? Like you have to, and the pool up in your area, you have to build the infrastructure to host the Olympics. So to even like be in consideration to host the Olympics, you have to spend tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
well,
you get to bid for it. And then you'll
Right.
lose more money because then you've got to spend about $1 billion finishing everything that you just tried
Right.
to start.
Yeah.
Like my
I mean,
city is building a Paralympic stadium, and
Right.
we haven't even been considered for it.
Yeah,
see,
like
this is a big thing that I'm definitely well aware of like the debt that we go in and all the buildings and stuff that we build and the accommodations that we make. So it's good that you're clarifying it in case somebody doesn't know
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things, because I definitely know, but it's like it's because you were talking about the center that they built near where I live, and it's a great center and it's beautiful, and there's rock climbing, there's swimming, there's all different kinds of things that you can do in that center. But as somebody who lives in this area, it is 0% affordable. So they put in this big building for athletes to train in order to, to attend the Olympics. And then you leave your community with the debt of paying it off by charging people like hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month to maybe use your gym and your pool. And that that's a big fucking problem with the Olympics as well.
Yo, like those
Let's-
every single stadium they built in Brazil
Yeah.
for the last Summer Olympics is unused by any team or sports organization
It's so
currently.
stupid. I can't
And
even.
on top of that, the human capital to build that, right? The human capital is even more than the money, because like Qatar, right? Or I'm gonna sound code switch here. I want to sound ethnic. Qatar, uh, they built the soccer stadium, right? And the human capital of the migrant workers from my country, from India, from other countries, from other third world countries, is like astonishing. People are like dying building these stadiums, right? And they're not being
Yeah.
used and stuff. But the question I have is like these stadiums that are being built, who is paying for them? Or is it the tax dollars, or is it like
Taxes, the city.
Yeah.
That's even-
Yeah.
So
And
it's even
that's where it
worse.
gets even more fucked because it's the city, so it was Rio,
Yeah.
not Brazil, most often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah, and
so
then
slimy.
the people living in the city, wherever it is, are responsible for paying off the mortgage or the final debt or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because like a membership at that gym near, because I looked at it, right, because I wanted to use their rock climbing facility that they have there, because it's like one of the tallest ones, and it was something ridiculous, like $300 a month or something stupid. And it's like
Yep.
you can only access like a certain section of the gym with that, unless you wanted to like get a family pack. And I was like, you've got to be like, I'm sure it's changed now because of the pandemic and they're trying to make money and like whatever. I'm sure it's changed, but at that time I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Even just for a
Exactly.
pass, even just for a pass to use the rock climbing gym was something stupid like 50,
That's
60 bucks.
insane. Like,
Well,
okay,
What?
that's capitalism, right? And socialism, Raza over here says, if you're not going to use that, open that to the community. You can, so many good things will happen out of that. First of all, kids will,
Love
spend
it.
the time,
Yeah.
like off the street. They'll be actually spending the time engaging with something. Second, make it affordable so that people can like come in and spend X amount of dollars and like keep on coming back because they're like not breaking the bank.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
No,
anyway, sorry,
that's
Bailey.
Would make sense.
no. My last relatable is like even in Canada, a lot of the sports stuff is still there in Vancouver, but you go around Vancouver, all the infrastructure, the fucking Olympic Village is just left to rot. Like even in Canada, it's just left to rot when the Olympics are done. No one uses it.
I
Yeah,
just don't
but for
understand
us,
that.
we are in a developed country, so we're able to take on that, right? That's the narrative
Yeah.
but that's how the
Yeah,
government
yeah.
looks at that. But if you're in a third world country like Brazil, for example, it's insane that you're trying to compete with a country like Canada. It's
Yeah.
insane. Like, yeah, and the IOC itself should be like, I have a whole
Yeah.
thing about
That's
that, but
that's maybe a different day. That could be a good video. I don't think that's something that could deserve a breakdown because of the weird chokehold they have. My
mhm.
last summarizing thought on the Olympics and the IOC is then I've got the one fun fact of like be fucking careful like if you talk about them online. If you repost a clip, if you use any sort of footage from the Olympics, you will get banned from your social media platform that you posted it on. There are copyright laws for the Olympics are like ungodly.
Well, because they don't make any money, they gotta hold on to something.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
But it's like insta ban. Like post an Olympic clip to Twitter, you'll get banned immediately. It's like one of the worst things you could do.
Do you,
So,
do you,
fun
do you, did
fact.
you did you
Mm.
guys see the thing I posted about the skateboarding thing?
Yeah.
No. No.
Uh,
No.
I'll send that to you right now. But
Okay.
on Discord. But it's so jokes how skateboarding has made its
Oh,
jump into the fucking Olympics, and that is
yes.
the first thing
You
that
mentioned it
happens.
to me briefly, but I did not see the link you're gonna send. But you did mention
Or-
it to me
It's
because we started
cool.
talking about Gator. That's why.
As
Mhm.
someone following like skateboarding and stuff, I've been hearing all the skaters talk about it, and it's just like weird and confusing because it's not even like when it comes to the Olympics, and it's just kind of like who said yes. It's not even like the best ones. It's just kind of whoever said yes to skate for their country. Like it's
Mhm.
like I
Yeah,
really
but
don't.
it's cute.
But did you see today, a 13-year-old Japanese skateboarder, she won gold and stuff. So
Oh,
I
I
was
didn't
Oh,
like,
see that. That's
cute.
tight though.
Good
that's
for her.
fucking badass. Yeah. And oh my God, Ben Shapiro was losing his mind over that. I
Good.
love it.
Cry about it,
Hmm.
I
Ben.
cry about dude.
Cry baby Ben.
We'll have a podcast on her because she deserves to be talked about. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
that's like,
I think
yeah.
I've heard the name before. I think I know what you're talking about. I just forgot it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
she made
it
me feel so like emasculated. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do something
it
cool
was
with my
good
kid.
timing to
Women can
bring
do
it into the
anything men can do.
yeah, and
Hmm.
it was a good choice on the Olympics behalf because skateboarding is like so international and inclusive now. So like the whole
Well, it's
skate
very
community would be stoked on that, you know?
yeah, it's very popular right now. Everybody's trying to skateboard or be a skateboarder.
It's very popular. It's become very
Hmm.
accessible. When I was in college for public relations, I wrote a whole paper on it because it's one of the more accessible mediums. Like, fucking,
Yeah.
we used to wait when we were in high school. You'd wait days or months for so you're like that one video where I have to go to this website where they. But now it's
Yes.
like I can watch them do it every day and be inspired. You're making money
Yeah.
and content daily by just doing what you love. It's like one of the only things that combines both at once, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
There's
it's
no other
funny you say
sport you
that.
can practice and also market effectively
Hmm.
at the same time.
Wouldn't can't she do that with basketball though?
Kinda, but what are you gonna do? Post
Yeah,
your
but
missed layups
basketballs,
every day,
yeah, it's different.
Hmm.
I just
right?
think it's cool that you just made that reference, like, because before it, yeah, you would go to the barracks online, and that's
Yeah.
where you would like watch your videos. But
Hmm.
now it like I get recommended skateboard channels on YouTube regularly, and they do
Right.
really cool stuff now, and it's become its own like culture, and it's a lot more popular than it used to be when we were younger. Like, of course, every guy had a skateboard, but now it's
Hmm.
different. It's much a
Ba-
lot more trendy.
Bailey got me back into like I couldn't skateboard, but Bailey
Mhm.
got me back into BMXing. So that was my thing.
Mm.
Um, and then he showed me this Indian guy. I forget his name now. Uh,
Pinder.
Pinder, and he's like, this dude is so cool. Like the stuff that he does, man. Like, is BMXing in the sport in the Olympics?
I
I
don't.
don't think
I don't
so.
think so yet. No.
We have not made any strides yet. I'm sorry to say. Olympics. Once BMXing gets it there, then it's a 21st century sport.
Oh,
It's not
fuck.
gone there yet. But no, but like yeah, I agree. Like skateboarding is accessible. You can literally build it on your own. Like build a board. I
Mm-hmm.
helped my homie build um a half pipe when I was in grade 8 and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So like it is accessible, but like it's hard as hell. That's the thing. Like you have
Yeah.
to like train yourself and
There,
be Ryan Sheckler.
I've tried. I
Yeah.
cannot.
there's a lot of
I
pros
get too
from like
scared.
South America now and stuff. It's really cool because they're like from
Yeah.
Chile or
Again,
Venezuela because they can get their hands on a board and they just do that all day since the economy's fucked.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even like soccer too. It's like that. It's the same
Yeah.
thing with that. Let's find a ball and a net because that's how it became big, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's a good transitionary phase. I feel like we put it out there. Would you like to move on to Yeezy? You want to talk some Yeezy?
Yeezy.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
so I guess the easiest way to summarize it is we've all seen the many fuck ups he's had over the past few years. The talk about slavery is just a mindset, and then his lipo breakdown, and then his even terrible run for presidency, which again, I say it's terrible, but this man definitely needs more support for his mental health at the same time that I say that.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, he's coming back with his new album after dropping Jesus is King, which no one liked, and I would argue is another example of his manic breakdown. I no disrespect to the gospel aspect because it was a good gospel album. He's coming back with his new typical style called Donda. It's the album everyone's been waiting for. It's the one people were talking about before. It's supposed to be a memoriam of his mom and all this crap. And all of a sudden, it's like the whole internet has forgotten about his past. So, are we watching the Kanye West redemption arc? And does he deserve a redemption arc?
I want to hear Wine Mom's take on this because I'm interested on this.
So the question is, does Kanye West deserve a redemption arc?
And
Yes.
Is
is
that the
this it?
question?
Yes.
Is this it?
Okay, I'm gonna have to reserve my "Is this it" once the album releases because I did not listen to the other one because I was like one song in and I was like, no. Um, as far as does Kanye deserve a redemption arc, I think absolutely. I think it's actually extremely important that Kanye does have a redemption arc because he's such an influential artist for so many people among the years. Because when he first came out with his first album, it revolutionized music at that moment where everyone was like, there's no way you can do hip hop the way that you're doing it and rap and make it so cool and fun, but also have that Christian aspect to it that was comfortable for everyone. Um, but I think if anything, mental health now is like the most serious thing to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he deserves the opportunity to get some help. However, I don't think he's ready yet. I'm hoping that the album is going to be good because I'm anticipating it because so many other
Mm,
albums this year fell through for me. So I'm
mhm,
hoping that it's going to be good.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Um but I'm just really worried that it's going to be filled with the same mania because I'm not seeing the help being had. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen some clips of the show that he did and he's walking around with a stocking on his head, which has already made me really uncomfortable and concerned. So, yes, he
He's lit.
deserves a redemption, but like
Mhm.
is this going to be it? I really don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Raza,
like
you
all over the place
first.
though. He's all over the place. Like
Yeah.
I want to have faith in him because like as you say like it is like a mental issue
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed, right?
Yeah.
But I it's just like it is hard to say because he's literally it's his bipolarness that makes it sort of like hard to judge
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, which is not his fault. So I want to hold my reservations till the album comes out and
Right.
then see how he reacts to that, because that
Right.
will be the true test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Why? I'll give my background and then I have a question. Is my thing is like
Uh-huh.
I was really let down with the Kanye breakdown there because Kanye was like one of my idols. Like I really like
Mm-hmm.
creatively and all that.
Yep.
Like someone I followed religiously and I kind of looked up to, and then it really let me down because it was like the similar complaints that we have about other influencers of it's like
Mm-hmm.
I can forgive the mental health stuff, but him making statements like slavery was a mindset and whatnot is like you're fully aware of your position. Like you made Jesus walks, you stood up, you were the civil rights guy. So
Yeah.
like you
What happened?
realize you're on TMZ. You're savvy to the media. As
Yeah.
much as I want to say that mental health is a contributor, at the same time you need to check yourself of like you're aware of this and you still said that shit publicly. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so it was a big letdown for me, and that's I've been really torn and confused about that in terms of like the artistry of it. So something
Yeah.
like I've been wrapping around my head around, and like I don't fully know where I land myself. So this is a super open-ended question, but
Yeah.
like why is it why wait for the how can the album redeem him? Why is it the music that redeems him? Why does the musical content matter?
It's I don't think it's so much the musical content so much as the message, I guess, because whereas you're saying like if Kanye releases a dope album, cool, great. For me, I'm like, cool, that's great. Um, but it's also about the work outside of that and like what he's putting out there. Because, you know, I stopped listening to Kanye a long time ago because I was like, you're just not doing what I remember and what I feel comfortable with. And so I'm just gonna wait until you get better, which I think is a common thing we do with a lot of artists. But I just think if his message is about redemption in this album, right? And it's about like righting the wrongs that he did previously, then I think it's fair to say that the music will give us a good reason for his redemption. I think it's fair to say that. However, I think that because he's so important, because he's a black man, he's so important to so many young black men. And it's so important for him to come out and be like, look, I'm sick and I need help and I'm going to try and get help and, at least do something like that. But he's not going to. I think at this point, Kanye's ego is too big for him to
Yeah,
truly admit that he needs help.
he's
He
on
did. That
autopilot with
was
that. Yeah.
that's what he was supposedly. The people who
Yeah.
defend him is that was the positive part of his TMZ appearance. That was him saying, "Look, I had lipo. Look, I was a drug addict. Look, I'm in rehab." It was
Yeah.
him trying to provide that vulnerable side and then fucking up because he was being vulnerable. Those are the
Yeah.
people who redeem him. But that does help add context to it for me severely.
Yeah.
But so to answer
Hmm.
your question, like on top of Wine Moms, was like I feel like this album is the only way, and like music is the only way, and rap is the only way that he can actually talk about
Hmm.
these things. He can't talk about these things like a normal, like how people normally talk about issues like that. So like
Yeah.
he can convey his emotions, his ideas, his thoughts through rap and whatnot. So it's
Hmm.
easier to for us as an audience to if we're smart enough to digest what he's saying.
Yes. See,
Yeah.
this is a very, very, very important thing to note about Kanye specifically, is that
Mhm.
he's always been given this title by people as like a musical god, or he's been given this like high status of an artist, right?
Mhm.
So when you are seen as like, quote unquote, the perfect artist or the ideal artist or this pedestal person, imagine all that pressure to come out and like talk about having something so severe as bipolar. That's a very
Yeah.
hard thing to live with, and it causes a lot of self doubt. And so when you're dealing with somebody who is forced to present this image of like everything's fine, I'm put together, I've got this, I'm under control, while you know his marriage is falling apart, he hasn't processed the death of his mother, his last album flopped, he's mentally ill, and he's trying to have a redemption arc of some kind. And so there is a lot of pressure on him to do that. And you know, I think Kanye does realize his mistakes. I think he's starting to understand like where he made those mistakes. But the problem is his brain is so clouded with all the things that he's trying to navigate, and because he's
Yeah.
not getting help, that's where the problem is.
Yeah. And he's surrounded by yes men. Like no,
Yeah.
Oh my dude,
nobody
don't
is like
even get
telling
me
him.
started.
Okay,
I
sorry.
agree
But
with that. I agree with that wholesomely. I mean that, yeah, 110%. I mean, look at where Chance the Rapper wins. It's because Chance turned into what he
Exactly.
turned into because he turned into a Kanye yes man.
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah, but
It
ultimately,
happened.
yeah.
No, it did. It happened with Chance. He kind of fell off, and he was. Yeah, it happened with Chance, and then you know, like J. Cole had a moment too. I mean, Drake. I think Drake is in that space right now where he's gonna end up in a bad spot because
The Six God, come on,
he's.
man.
Mm-mm.
Listen,
He's
dude,
immune.
he is too full of himself, and
Oh
there's way
yeah.
too much confidence, and he's making way too many mistakes. And because he's able to come back at people, Bailey, we're going to talk about this later, but he's making mistakes. But the thing is that
Wait, he disagrees with that?
he shook his head no. But
Oh, okay. Boo,
Yeah,
Bailey. Boo.
he is no, well, because Drake. I don't know. He is, but Drake has like Michael Jackson level fame. Like Drake can get his ass out of a situation. Kanye has a record of tarnishes and outlashes. Drake has beefed with Pusha once and like lost.
see, that's not it though.
You know.
That's not what I'm referencing. The thing is like Drake is good at covering it quickly. That's why.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
Drake is good at when somebody says something about him, he's good at making a pretty rap to like combat whatever somebody says about him. But that doesn't change what he's doing, and I think eventually it's going to catch up to him. But my point is, in the grand scheme of things, is that we tend to put celebrities on these really high pedestals, and then when they fail, instead of being like, "Oh, okay, we see you're struggling, you're failing," you know, like when his first mental breakdown happened after his mom died, like our initial response was to be like, "Oh, but you're Kanye West and like you can't treat us like this and you're the man of our community." And it's like, "Hold on. Maybe don't put him up there and allow him to make mistakes and own up to them and grow." But society doesn't do that. And we do that with celebrities, we do that with music artists, you know, we do that with YouTubers, with any kind of like content creator that we look up to. It's put them on a pedestal, and mistakes happen, and it's like mental health isn't even a consideration. It's just, oh, you're too rich and powerful, you don't care about anybody anymore, you're just doing what you want.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why I like idolized him. Like how he approached that was like so like the genius and the right way to do it originally, because he did that blow up, and then like rather than brag about it, he just fucking disappeared for a year, and then like rather than all the interviews about like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was like, okay, rather than like create some PR apology, it's like I'm just going to make like undeniably the best piece of work I possibly can, right? And like to me, that's what it's about. We talk about all these influencers, and Gabby Hanna's got to make this video series. It's like you're saying, you should paint, like work on your artistry. Like that's what I thought. That original path that Kanye took that first time around was like that was the healthiest option. That was like
Yeah.
go focus on
But-
your craft and get out of the
Yeah.
fucking public spotlight, man.
But
Right.
and also on top of that, on top of that, Bailey, it's just like when he got involved with the Kardashian, that sort of like changed the course of everything. That sort of like
Yeah.
his mental health became not a priority anymore.
This
It
is the
became
that's
something else. Yeah.
I really want to. So combining all of our points is that's the one where I would love to talk to a woke human, because I am still Caucasian man, but I would like to talk to a woke human sometime about that, because that's when I get conflicted. Like, is he a bad example for an aspiring young black man when he kind of like sold himself out to a bunch of rich white women.
Yes
See,
and no.
I
And
was
it's
just
a
gonna say,
complicated
I
one.
don't know. I don't know if I agree that he necessarily sold himself out. Because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another thing with the Kardashians. It's a very like touch and go because they are seen as like these white women who just like got famous for being white and buying their bodies, right? But I think with Kanye and Kim, like their relationship started way before Kim was really even anybody. And so that's where people get very confused because the relationship between Kanye and Kim originated with true genuineness. It did
Mhm.
originate
Mm-hmm.
with true genuineness because that's when Kanye left his girlfriend originally, and he had that line in his song about he's gonna leave your ass for a white girl. That's what that was referencing is his relationship with Kim because he had left his girlfriend to be
Mm-hmm.
with Kim, and they were keeping it very under wraps when they first got together. Like nobody knew anything about their previous relationship up until more in the future when people are like, "Oh, so they were messing around for years cuz apparently he was also messing around on Amber with Kim."
Yeah,
Right?
that's the 3
So
a.m. to
Oh.
Calabasas.
exactly. So do I think that relationship was built on genuine love? Yeah, I think it originated that way, but I think Kim's lifestyle is that of a certain way, and Kanye
Mhm.
thought
It,
that he
it,
was above that going into the relationship, and I think
yeah.
he thought, right, I think he thought that he was going to be able to control the direction, and then when Kim was like, "Actually no, if you're married to
Mhm.
me, you have to be a part of my projects." Kanye was like unable to
Comprehend that.
right, to fight it
Mhm.
because he was like, "I'm Kanye West, I do what I want, but also I love my wife and my kids, what am I supposed to do? This is her family, her life, like, I married into this, I came into this, what am I
Mhm.
supposed to do?" Right? And,
Yeah.
the whole thing with the whole Trump controversy, I don't think I don't think Kanye really meant those things he said. I think he was kind of
Yeah.
confused, and this is purely my own personal opinion. It's not an excuse for what Kanye did, but I think him doing that was an attempt to create a stable relationship between him and Trump in order
Mhm.
for Kim to do the reform work that she was trying to do. I think that that's
I
kind
was
of
hearing
where that
that. Yeah.
happened.
I
Yeah.
she,
I
she,
I was
yeah.
hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hearing
Because
that.
I
Yeah.
don't think at that time the extent of like how horrible Trump was really going to be and until it became what it was going to be.
But
And this is
conver-
just yeah.
yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
conversely, like if we're talking about the politics of this,
Mhm.
uh, Trump literally saw Trump and the Republican Party saw this black guy is saying
Right.
stuff that agrees with us.
Uh-huh.
Now we have a black guy who
Uh-huh.
says slavery was a choice. We're
Mhm.
not wrong anymore because it's a black guy who agrees with us. So
Right.
I think people were taking advantage of his sort of episodes
Right.
Yeah,
during
people
that
were.
year.
And
Yeah.
then that's where, like, it's the yes man. It's so muddled because, yeah, it's the yes man, it's the this, it's the that.
Yeah.
Because it's like he has so many black thought leaders around him. Like, he's someone, if he was not of sound state of mind to make the judgment to not come out in support of Trumpito, then,
Mhm.
like, someone around him should have at least conveyed the weight behind the decisions he was
Right.
making, you know?
Mhm.
See, when he made the comment where he said that slavery was a state of mind, that comment for me always just felt really weird. Not because of the actual comment itself, but I think like everything around the comment because I feel like Kanye has this pressure to be woke, right? He's seen
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
woke guy, which I don't know why he ever got that title in the first place. Like yes, he's very intelligent and he's artistically talented and everything else, but he is
Mhm.
by no means like the woke man of the world. So how he got that title, I don't know, but I think the pressure of being woke, he thought that he was saying something influential and something woke and inspirational. And he said it,
Mhm.
and I don't think he even filtered it in his head. I think he just went, "Oh yeah, if I tell people to change their mindsets by saying, slavery is a mindset, then I'm saying something powerful and will invoke,
Yeah.
people to feel powerful." And like I get where he was trying to go, but he just missed it.
That's what he said in the Charlemagne interview that he did
Right.
afterwards. That's what he said he
Right.
was going for, which I
Right.
do slightly believe. But it's again
Yeah.
like context, and I think he did put himself in the woke position with his very first few albums, with Late Registration and Graduation, Crack Music. The whole themes of the album are about like his strife as a black artist, right?
I would
Like,
argue Jesus is also in that
yeah.
realm.
So
Of,
I would
But
say
this
he
is
directly put himself in that conversation. That's Sid, in support of your stuff. I think that's the weird thing that's gotten super perverted in our modern era, but he's the first example of it, of like, just because he's an artist that talks about the social issue, does that mean he has to be the fucking leading expert on it?
arbiter.
Yeah.
Well, this is
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean, right? Because now people are starting to. So this is the thing that we do, but it's the truth. It's like this is the pressure that as a community is put on specific Black artists
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they did it with Kanye. They did it with
Michael
J.
Jackson.
Cole. They did it with Michael Jackson. Yeah. They did it with Daniel
Yep.
Glover. They
Hmm.
did it with
Yep.
him. And it's like they're not responsible for being the wokest person. You're
Hmm.
responsible for your own woke knowledge, which like the whole woke being woke, all that it's just a bunch of bullshit. Like, just be
Say
a good
woke one more time.
person.
Okay.
You know, like I hate that so much. For me,
Hmm.
that's always just a thing where I'm like,
It
okay,
it's because like in this society, like we're so used to seeing the white male's perspective that all of a
right,
sudden when we get a black man or a brown man talking or an
hmm
Asian man to talking, it's now we have to listen to them. They're actually coming from a place of education. They're coming from a place where it's different
right,
from our views. So I think there's like, yes, we should listen to these guys, but at the same time, listen to them with a grain of salt because they
yes,
don't they're not the arbiters of information and stuff.
right,
Like
Hmm.
go jump to those go to those conclusions on your own.
yeah. But I think also the biggest problem is that when a community faces struggle, you
Hmm.
look for a person to be a powerful representation.
Hmm.
That's the reality. And it's like whichever artist is doing the right thing at the time is going to be the one. Because there was
Hmm.
even a brief moment when people were trying to give Macklemore this like woke sort of aesthetic and I was like, "What? He raps
He
about thrift
he
stores." Like
Nah, he's always rapped about, like, he's put out like 3
I
songs
like
about
that one
white
more.
privilege before he did that and after he did that. So it's like he kind of
yeah, but
inserted himself in that convo, you know? Like
which
his
is
whole
fair,
song
but
about Jordans was about that shit.
which is fair, but there's
Is
tons of
this?
other white artists that have done similar things that nobody looks
Mhm.
at. It's just because Macklemore happened to be the popular one at the time, so everybody
Yeah.
clung to him.
I
Hmm.
disagree, but I support the
And now
opinion.
is it a Post Malone now? Have they move on from Macklemore to
No,
Post Malone?
no.
Who's the new
Who's
white
the new
guy?
woke white
Who's the
guy?
new? Yeah.
The woke white
Dude, I
guy
don't
is
even
Jack
know.
Harlow.
No, he's not
Yeah,
woke. He's
yeah,
done
he
some
is. He
pretty
just
woke
made a
stuff.
huge. He just made a press statement last week about it because someone called him out, and it was beautifully written. It was well
He
written.
had a
It's a,
song with uh what's his name? Lil I forget his name now. It's like a huge controversy going
Lil
on right
Uzi
now.
Vert
No, he had a song with
with
what's his
Tory
Lil Nas.
Lanez.
Lil
Lil
Nas.
Nas
Oh,
X.
industry
Lil
baby.
Nas. Industry Baby. He put out a whole song for that. And people are
Mhm.
actually saying, "Oh, Jack Harlow
Yeah,
is he
because
gay or something?" Because he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm just making a song with one of my homies. That's all I'm
See,
making."
I
they
disagree that he's the influential woke white man right now,
Okay.
specifically because a lot of people are coming after him for the controversy with Megan the Stallion. Because when she got shot by Tory
oh,
in the
that's
foot,
outdated. That's old though.
no, but it is old, but it's a powerful statement because he was called out recently because of his wokeness. He was called out, and they were like, "Why didn't you remove Tory from your song after it was evident that he shot Megan in the foot?" And he was like,
Because
"It's not my place to
you're
decide whose side because there's 3 points to every story." And it's like, if you are woke, you're not supporting a black woman in a time of need. Like
yeah, well,
that's
the
confusing to me.
case is still also open, right? Like there
Right.
still hasn't been any proof or evidence that he did shoot her. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he made the best choice as an artist making a public statement. It's best not to take sides in a legal case that you could get dragged into. Personally. And then I think his last, like even his public statement this last week, he got called out for that shit, and like his whole thing was about here, look, like I grateful for my position, blah blah blah. My whole thing is about promoting, like, rather than being someone who's taking from this culture, the idea is to then appreciate it and how to conduct yourself appropriately within it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's the woke response. It's not being a Macklemore who's like, oh, Jordans and my feelings of being white and oh my god, I'm Logic and I feel this and that. It's like just being like, no, I'm making music in this culture. I recognize that. I'm grateful for it, and this is how I would decide to give back. I mean, that's why Post got in so much shit, because Post came in as a rap star and couldn't talk. He still can't talk his way out of how he's supporting the culture. Because he would rather drink Bud Light and get a check for it. Hang out with Ethan at the same time.
Easy money. And then being in the Jason Statham.
He doesn't hang out with Ethan anymore.
Sorry, that was
But
an
I mean,
updated
like,
reference.
no, but I just don't feel like he's the woke artist.
Okay.
I think in contrast to any of the other options that are out there.
I mean,
G-Eazy's just stealing the culture, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's
but
no...
I really...
like,
I just don't think that white men represent that at all, anyway. In any way. I just don't think that's, you know, the place for them.
Yeah,
I get it. Like, sure, maybe
what
he's
about
saying,
someone like LP, though? What about someone like fucking... like you could go back like Aesop Rock, right? Like there's so you're saying any white hip hop artist is like invalidated in their contributions?
Not
they're not invalidated.
Yeah.
They just don't get to have a woke opinion and be like the standard. I'm sorry.
So why does Eminem get that pass?
I don't think he gets that pass.
He gets the pass in like the majority. I believe you do, but
people.
A lot of pop culture would say that he does.
Look, Eminem was very influential for his time, and his music definitely deserves the recognition, and he has written some powerful stuff. But with all due respect to Eminem, he writes stuff for white guys.
White America! Sorry.
It's the truth, though, because I mean, like, you know, because Eminem came up under Dr. Dre, and that's a big fucking deal for Dr. Dre to be supporting Eminem like he did, and Eminem has earned all of his credit. That's 100%. He's earned it. He continues to earn it, and he shows people why he deserves it, and that's fine. But Eminem makes music for white guys. He makes rap for white guys, and it's fine. I like Eminem. I listen to Eminem. Everybody listens to Eminem, and that's fine. But you have to give recognition where it's deserved, because there's so many other artists that have done influential things. You know?
Yeah, I don't listen to Eminem anymore at all. I don't like him ever since that Machine Gun Kelly shit. It really pissed me off, because like I'm down with like you going at him, but like you're a legend, bro. Like Eminem's like concerning himself with the issues of the petty far too much. It's like just get, why the fuck are you bitching about littles? You just sound like a sour old man. Like
it was, and
I
like
disagree.
Like I don't like MGK, and like I stand by that statement with everything I have, but I'm glad somebody put MGK in his place, and I do agree at the same time. Eminem should be focusing on, you know, the bigger fish and not going out after MGK. But I'm appreciate, like, MGK was getting a little too out of hand. And
I feel like it was a deserved response, because MGK was talking about his daughter. You don't do that. Eminem's made that very clear over his career, his entire career. Don't fuck with my kid. So I think it was fair for him to respond. I understand what you mean, but Eminem says he's retired every year. Eminem's never retire until he physically can't do music anymore. It's just
Yeah.
we know this about him. It's a trend, right?
Which is cool, but it's like, and I guess he did make fun of his daughter and shit, but then he has all these others, all the song. His last album was whatever Kamikaze, where he's just dissing mad people. It's like, you're literally wasting your time. Like, you could have he could have a beautiful legacy. He could be like a Ghostface Killer. He could be like a fucking MF Doom and seen as like an artistic great, but now he's seen as like just someone who gets in internet beef and he's a little bit better of a rapper.
Disagree.
I guess. I think he missed out on the pointer that he could have been like an artistic legend rather than just like another one of the better rappers.
I hear you. And I
understand
what you're saying. No, I hear you. No, I hear you. I understand what you're saying, and you're entitled to your opinion. And this is, I am in no way like trying to be an Eminem stan. I just feel like he deserves the respect that he has. I don't think he should be discredited. I will say though, his Kamikaze and his Songs Be Murdered 2 albums, the front and back or whatever.
Trash. What? I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
I heard that.
Anyway, before I lose my point, my point is that I'm trying to get to is like, I liked those albums. I thought they were good. But what I'm noticing is Eminem is reaching out to a variety of creators, which like you can feel however you feel, Billy, and say whatever you want to say. But he's picking artists that are small artists from YouTube and like giving them a platform, which I think is a big deal to do because he is Eminem. And as much as people are like, oh, he's just some white guy, it's like being able to be elevated with him is a big deal. And if he's going to use his position to give smaller artists an elevation, then that's kind of the progression that a music artist should be taking. You reach a certain part in your career.
Who's the small artist that he elevated?
There is a small artist. I can't remember his name. I'll find it for you after the show. All right.
You gotta deal.
I agree with that.
There is a small artist that he elevated from. He specifically picked him. He specifically picked him from YouTube.
No, and I'm not denying that either. I'm not denying that either.
You are.
It's fine. But I get it because you have a different taste.
And in the light of us saying that Kanye West should redeem himself through his artistry, like through his talent, I don't think Eminem's been doing anything to like exercise just his skill and his talent. I think he's stooping down to a level that he literally doesn't need to anymore. And that's what kind of bums me out about it.
I can agree with you and I can hear you on that, but you also have to think about how Eminem came up. He came up doing rap battles and like being petty. That's where he started. So I feel like it's on brand for him to continue to do that. And I think like, because I could be wrong with what I'm saying, but I know that there was like one lyric in some song. I wish I could remember off the top of my head. I can't remember anything, but he specifically said, he's like, if I say nothing, I get in trouble, but if I say something, I get in more trouble. So it's like, basically he's like, do you want me to respond or do you not want me to respond? And it's like, what if you're going to push a guy to respond eventually, like especially Eminem, who's very trigger happy, of course he's going to respond. So I don't blame him for responding if you're going to poke a bear, like, you know? And I personally feel like him being petty like that, I feel like it was on brand and I respected it, especially because he's been quiet. Right. Especially because he's been quiet for so long now. It's like, cool, come out and do your thing. Like, why not drop a little, especially because he's old and he's like, I can still do some fun. Like he beat a world record on that album for fastest rapping. And he did it just to do it. Not because he was trying to like prove to somebody something. He just did it to do it, which I think is badass.
Who cares how fast he can rap? I admire it. I admire it. I don't think he like broke any. What do you like? It's like a fastest whatever your slash of like rap. Like you can play the guitar real cool with your vocal cords. Like cool. Congrats, you deserve that. Papoose can rap the alphabet too, but where's Papoose? You know what I'm saying?
But Anyway, let's move on from Eminem. I don't want to, because I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be seen as like Eminem's my personality. But
Man.
I feel differently because I feel like he deserves the respect, and I feel like most of the moves that he's made, especially recently, have been for a good reason. So
I
that's how
do
I
see.
feel.
Okay, well, you have brought me around to ponder a bit more on it. I will give you that.
Which he doesn't do
So
often, so consider yourself
I just
fucking
sanded
like
him down a little bit.
you did
yeah.
sand me down a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I will to round up. Me and Raza will finish ranting about Kanye
Yeah.
as you pull up our next segment so that you can be prepared to read it.
Yes, Dad.
I think all in all, for the Kanye tying it to the Eminem it's just. I am interested to see the lyrical content of this, and I'm very interested to see how the public perceives it if he does do a good job, and I've got a sneaking suspicion that it will be a good album. How do you
and
feel?
he's living in he's apparently he's living in that stadium where he presented the
That's tight.
the album because he wants to finish it. It's not done yet. So like I think it's the expectation is going to be this album is going to have to do what a bunch of your albums have done in the past is take the genre and throw it into new heights, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
expectation of this album, right? So if that happens, I feel like it's going to make his ego even bigger. But if that doesn't happen, he's going to go into a weird sort of like comatose
Spiral.
depression
Yeah.
spiral and whatnot. So
That's so
this
scary.
it is scary. So
About
this album will literally make him in a bad way, and it'll also break him in a bad way
yeah.
too. So like I want this album to come out. I'm stoked that he's making music, but Kanye, if you ever watch Marching into Madness, me, Bailey, Wine Mom, and we fucks with your health, mental health.
Yes,
Put
Yeah.
that first, and then
please.
put out an awesome album. Because I heard Jesus for the first time again in a year. Goosebumps, man, goosebumps. I am a god and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Greatest album song I've ever heard in my life. One of them at least. Like I told Bailey, I've never been excited for a rap album ever before, and this is the
I'm
first
always
time.
excited for a rap album.
This is the first time. So when I saw it at midnight on Friday night, Kanye was
hmm
trending on Twitter. I was hoping Bailey was up. I just was like, "Here's music, new
Yeah.
music." And
Yeah.
then I saw the track list or the rumored track list. It's gonna be fire. He has
Because
Travis
that's
Scott on.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Well, that's to get about his. If he used his old creative process, then it's like it will be. Because what Kanye's always done excellently is, especially for Yeezus, that was one of them. He'll reach
Mhm.
out to literally like 10 or 20 different producers and be like, okay, here's my bass track. You take this shit and send it back to me. And then he takes all 20 of those people's sendbacks and pulls from each one of them. So it's like, not only does he cut checks to all these, like you said, Wine Mom earlier, he cuts check to all these developing artists. It
hmm
also like that keeps Kanye always sounding fresh because he's literally sampling all of the most relevant artists that he can find. That's that
Yeah.
whole
And
like
like
Wyoming cottage and why he has all those people come through all the time because he gets other people to lay a bar, lay a track, lay the beat, and then he fucks with it.
mhm.
But sorry, go.
Yeah.
Me?
Oh, I thought I cut you off.
No, but like that's why I respect Kanye for his musical talent
Yeah.
because he literally does he's doing things what people in the genre aren't doing. Even when he was new to the whole game, and to
hmm
now he's still breaking ground. He's still like
Yeah.
going to uncharted territory.
Yeah.
He's doing a whole bunch of stuff that a lot of hip hop artists aren't doing, which I'm so happy for. But not mental health,
Man,
dude.
Man's used to drop new artists like they were breadcrumbs, you know? Like Designer was an accident, you know what I'm saying? Panda.
Oh
That was
yeah.
an accident, and he made it a whole
Yeah.
fucking career, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I digress. I hope it
You can
turns out
call me a
well.
Kanye stan.
Well, I think we just, because Kanye has been around for a lot of our young years, adulthood, there's
Mhm.
a sentiment to him. And then there's
Totally,
like a
yeah.
hope, because seeing him get better, I think would mean a huge deal to a lot of people. Just to
Oh
see
yeah.
Kanye overcome like the biggest hump in his life.
Especially the black
Yeah.
community. They would look at this and be like, we can do this too. Like we
Yeah.
can also achieve greatness. But yeah, sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
I agree.
That's those are good summarizing thoughts. So Wine Mom's got a tale for us coming up to tell us who's the asshole in the situation. Am
Yes.
I? Am
So
I? Is it me?
I was
this
gonna say
is
you.
this is the Am I the Asshole segment of the day. Okay, so I won't read the title, of course, because it'll give it away.
That's what I figured.
Um, so I cooked dinner for the family today, and my sister had a guest over. I was told to make whatever I wanted for the family, my parents, myself, my brother, and my sister. The food
Mhm.
I made was roast beef and mashed potatoes for Sunday night. At dinner time, my sister brought a surprise guest over for dinner. I had no idea, and I also had no idea that she was vegan. My sister ended up making a big fuss that I didn't make vegan food for her surprise guest that I met for the very first time. My parents were a little upset as well. They said, "Go and cook her some food. She must be hungry." Having worked all day and on work feeling tired, I refused. I said, "I'm tired. I don't know any recipes and I can't just rush a meal." The guest felt a little awkward and my family was a little mad at me. I concluded by saying, "I don't know how to make vegan dishes. I'm tired from working 9 hours in that day. And if she's hungry, she can use her Uber Eats to order what she's comfortable with." Am I the asshole in this situation?
Hey, you want
Me?
this one?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
lead
that's
it.
just because I understand like food stuffs. I have a little bit of empathy. If you're that rich and you offered your Uber, that's kind of fair. There shouldn't be a fuss. I think that's a fair in between. If you're that rich and it's not a problem, you're like, here, order what you want.
I
That's fair.
disagree.
But like, you can find some shit in your kitchen. I mean, even if you're like, yo, I don't know any vegan shit, but you want to see if I've got avocados for toast or some shit? Like, you can do something. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Man, rich boy over here.
Right? What about you, Raza? What do you think? Who's the asshole?
I think the OP is not the asshole, okay, I need to pause my name. The OP is not an asshole, but to a degree. Like, yeah, they're planning a dinner, they're planning this whole thing, and then all of a sudden this surprise guest is dropped on them. If the sister said, "Hey, heads up, I'm having a friend come through, and they're also a vegan," the OP could have been like, "Okay, I'll accommodate." That's what it happens in my household. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
But to the degree is it's like I wouldn't have said, "Hey, order Uber Eats." I would personally, when I read that, I thought that was a little rude. Like she already, the friend already feels uncomfortable. It already feels kind of like awkward there. So
Yeah.
now, so now this person didn't even do anything, but now OP is saying, "Hey, order Uber Eats," and being
Yeah.
like dismissive about it, without
Mhm.
like without understanding that like this is also awkward for this person, not just you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my take. Yeah.
um yeah. I think as the non-meat eater in the room,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I don't think OP is an asshole.
Yeah.
For
100%.
and there's like, I think the family was the asshole for applying pressure to someone who worked
Okay.
and then also cooked food. I
Yeah.
understand your point, Bailey, because as someone who doesn't eat meat, a lot of my friends have been more than accommodating for that. A lot of my
Mhm.
friends keep things that they know that I can eat in their freezers and stuff for when I come over, which I please don't do that for me. Really appreciate that you do that for me. It's very
So,
kind.
in other words, please do it.
Yeah.
It'll just make her feel.
But I will say, in her defense, for myself personally, in my home, if somebody comes here and they eat meat, that sucks for you because I don't have that here. I'm not making
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm not buying it for you. If you want it, you can go get it yourself, or you
Mm-hmm.
can order it in yourself if you'd like. However, if I had knowledge that somebody who ate meat was coming over as a mandatory thing for their diet or whatever the case may be, I would try
Mm-hmm.
and be as accommodating as possible. But
Yeah.
I'm also the kind of person that I bring my own snacks everywhere because I know I've been in situations similar to that where people are like, "Oh shit, I don't have anything for you. I'm so sorry." And it's like, "I got snacks in the car. Don't worry about it." Like,
Wait,
I'm
Yeah.
good
you also bring snacks
everywhere.
everywhere? Okay. My friends would chirp me for like taking snacks everywhere I go. But like, I'm not weird, but thank you for
Yeah.
validating me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Awesome.
think I think the only time the OP was an asshole was when they started to give attitude and like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
be rude and give pushback. I
Hmm.
just feel like sure it's not a great situation, but there's there is vegan food in every. You
Oh
just
yeah.
have to do it. And I think that it could have been done in a way where it was like the option could have been, "Hey, I'm sorry we don't have anything for you. Can I give you access to my kitchen? Or is there something that we can make that's really easy? Or can I order you something to accommodate you?" Like, I
Hmm.
understand you're frustrated and you're tired, but there's a way to be like, "Can I help you?" And that's the
Yeah.
That
thing. Anytime I've ever eaten with Bailey, whenever it's been in his environment, there's always an option because you just accommodate, you just modify things so
Yeah.
it's not a problem, right? But
Hmm.
some people don't think that. So I get why she felt that way. So kind of everyone was a
Yeah.
bit of an asshole.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say that. I was like,
Initially it was like, see what I was saying earlier. I felt everybody was an asshole there.
Hmm.
See?
Yeah.
Right.
I think I do. I know this is like sounds biased, but I think the vegan friend was the asshole because I
can,
think that they weren't prepared for the situation. Like unless they knew that they were a surprise guest, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
And if they didn't know, then
It just overall sounds
Yeah.
like a very wealthy family. You know what I mean? That's my judgmental thing. It sounds like a very wealthy
Yeah.
family.
yeah.
You
I
are
feel
Uber,
like
you're rich.
well, that and I feel like it's a very communal thing of like having a little bit less. It's a lot easier to say, "Hey, why don't we go like look in my kitchen?" or like just
Yeah.
not be
Hmm.
so sassy like, "Oh, I worked 9 hours." It's like I'm pretty sure everyone
Yeah.
at your dinner table worked in some capacity that day, so we respect you're tired, but no one gives a
Just
fuck if you worked 9 of them
yeah.
or 6 of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Just a heads up, like if in my house, if there's a family dinner, there will be one or three vegan dishes there because that's
Yeah.
normally how we do. Because again, my sister is vegan, right? So
Yeah.
it just makes sense to, and then a bunch of my family members are also. So it's just easy for us to just make it
Yeah.
as as we do it because it's
Right.
normal to
I mean,
to us. Yeah.
right. Everybody has either like a salad or potatoes or vegetables that you could
Mhm.
stir fry up with a little bit of
Mhm.
something. Like there's always a possibility to like put together, a little bit of food, whatever it is, a little mix and match meal. It doesn't have to all
Little
be cohesive as long as somebody is
yeah.
full, you
Mhm.
There's a
know?
theme, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
it.
Um, are we gonna end the stream? Because if we're gonna end the stream, I have a joke. I want to
Okay,
edit.
make the joke. I was just about to end it. Make the joke. You want to make it
Okay,
before or after?
after because it's a play
Oh,
on
okay.
what? Yeah. No, before the end.
Then go. Wreck it.
Um, how do you know? How do you know a person is a vegan or an atheist?
They'll tell you in the first 5 minutes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Har
I
har.
laughed so hard when I felt. I'm like writing something. I'm like, that's so true.
No,
It's
it's
so
I think
funny.
true.
it's
It's funny and it's true, but it's because
Yeah.
like there's a genuine fear that you may be served something that makes you sick. For me, like if
yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
accidentally gave me meat, like I'm gonna get sick.
Yeah, no, but
So
like the jokes. I understand the vegan and the vegetarian side of it, but I don't understand the atheism. They're like, you go to a bar. Yeah, I'm an atheist, but like, I didn't ask you, you
yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
I just said, how you doing, man? But yeah,
The
I
atheist one
understand
is a little funnier, I think, than
where
vegan.
you're coming from. But like
I
my
agree.
sister who's a vegan, and everybody, all of our family knows that she is vegan, right? But she
Mhm.
makes it a point that I'm vegan, and we're like, Zana, we get it. You are vegan. This is your 10th time telling us. These people know you. One of them is vegan already. They don't care if you are.
Yeah.
Damn.
I worked
Yeah.
in my previous job for a year
Mhm.
before they found out that I was vegan.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because I don't care. I don't eat other people's food anyway, so
Hmm.
it's not a problem for me. And I don't really care. Like whatever.
It is what it is,
Yeah,
though.
It
because I'm
is
very
what
much the
it
kind of
is.
person. Yeah, I take care of myself if I need.
Hmm.
It's all good in the hood.
No, I agree. The one that bugs me is the gluten-free one. So it's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gluten-free. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck me.
Like, what is that?
Well,
Like,
because
I
the
mean,
suck a dick.
because the person who's
I
celiac
know.
is gonna say they're
I know.
celiac, right? I
yeah,
don't like
Yeah.
the oh, I'm fucking, I just
yeah,
but it's like, yo, okay, then just don't order it.
yeah.
Like, I would have
It's true.
people walk into my vegan restaurant all the time doing that. Well, I'm gluten free. It's like, great. Here's my gluten free menu. Do you want me to say you're great as well? Like,
Like, oh, sir, you have different dietary restrictions than normal people. Here's a fucking unique medal for you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so
What's how
that
it
was my
feel?
sassy. But done. Okay,
yeah,
we'll keep bitching after the thing, because we're bitching about too many people directly. We're going
yeah.
off the rails. Thank you everybody for watching today. That was a good Am I the Asshole Wine Mom. We almost killed each other
Yeah.
over Eminem theories and Jack Harlow. So I would say it's a successful day. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. My name's Bailey. You can find me on the internet at gnarly_media on Instagram. And you should definitely follow the show on YouTube. We got 2 channels. You're going to catch the edited version of this. And very soon, this is going to be much better produced. And you'll be able to listen to us on your devices. Now, Raza and Wine Mom, your turn to say any goodbyes.
Follow me on my socials if you want to have those sexy memes. I got them for you. Other than that, keep it real, keep it kosher, keep it halal. Say hi to your mom for me. Say hi to your dad for me. Uh, yeah, bye.
Oh
Gang,
my
gang.
gosh.
Gang, gang.
Oh man.